Good morning, everyone. I have no idea what time it is when you're watching this, but here it is early. So, today we'll be doing some more Vintage Cube. Or, why do I keep saying that? It's Legacy Cube. It's Legacy Cube, everyone. So, in this pack, I'm pretty tempted to just take a fetch land or the duel here. There's nothing in this pack that sticks out as like a strategy defining thing other than maybe sneak attack, and I don't like drafting that deck. So I'm just going to start with Polluted Delta. Alright. Pack 2. Maybe we'll just take Volcanic Island. Yet again, there's nothing that's like, I gotta have it. So I'll just take the fixing. If you have good mana, you can play a lot of different cards, and even cards that would otherwise be like substandard or harder to cast become way easier or much better. Like if you have great mana, casting Nicol Bolas on 5 or 4 is insane. Like Dragon God, I mean. But if you have bad mana, you won't cast him until turn 7 and he will not have an impact, just as an example. So we have a Volcanic Island. We can take Swift Spear. We can take Stoneforge Mystic. We could do there's cards in this pack that indicate we could take a control-y build. Like, we could take like Nicol Bolas because we have Grixis mana already, and just like commit hard to that. You know what, let's try and make Nicol Bolas work. This seems like it might be fun. So we're working with Grixis colors, and we have to commit very hard to black because Nicol Bolas is triple black and a 5-drop. Picking this card is almost certainly wrong for anybody watching, simply because it's going to wheel. Nobody picks this card. So, like, I could have picked any other card in this pack and been guaranteed to get this later. So our picks here are probably, like, Smiting Helix, Murderous Rider, or Cyclonic Rift. I could also take Sword of Feast and Famine or Light and Shadow, but I don't think I want to be doing that. I think I'm going to take Murderous Rider. It's going to help reinforce in my brain that we need to have a lot of black mana. So in this pack, there's Kalitas, Flame Slash, Murderous Cut. There's technically Show and Tell too, but I don't really want to play Show and Tell. I don't like the Show and Tell Sneak Attack, Archetype, and Limited. Kalitas is pretty good. Flame Slash is good. I think I'm going to take Kalitas. The lifelink is going to help stifle any sort of aggression that we come up against. I think we just take Lava Claw Reaches as on-color fixing. Yeah, let's do that. We can get Obosh, the Prey Piercer, but we'd be playing him as like just a creature in our deck if we did. He is easier to cast than most, which kind of lends credence. There's also Hour of Devastation and Sweltering Suns. I kind of like Sweltering Suns. I'm going to take Sweltering Suns. Okay, Lava Coil or Seasoned Pyromancer. No fixing in this pack for us. I think Seasoned Pyromancer is better, but we don't have any real removal yet. I'll take the Pyromancer. Niv Mizzet, technically in our colors. Same with Talrand and Extinction Event. I wonder how good Extinction Event is. This is a recent addition because of Ikoria. I want to take Extinction Event. Since we're working with like triple black cards anyway, I'm going to take Gatekeeper of Malakir because having an Edict on a body seems pretty great. Rankle is good. I guess we take Smiting Helix. We might be able to splash the flashback, but it's okay removal. Plus, it can always go to the face. I guess I'll take Show and Tell. Take Bedlam Reveler. Hour of Devastation is a decent pickup. Okay. So in this pack, there are 2 red fetches. There's a Coalition Relic, which will make our mana a lot easier. We do not have a Blood Crypt of any sort, meaning that like Blood Crypt or Badlands, no fetchable black-red duel. So the red lands become a little bit worse. They can get Volcanic Island, but most of the time they'll just get a mountain, which is probably fine considering the number of double red cards we have. And like these are gonna get picked higher than Coalition Relic, which is sad because Coalition Relic is really great. But I think we gotta take Coalition Relic here. Other cards in this pack I'd be happy to get would be like Jace, Young Pyromancer, Read the Bones, even Crypt Breaker. But we'll take Coalition Relic. Okay, Bloodstained Mire is good. It is a red fetch that also fetches black, so it kind of negates the problem with the other 2 red fetches we just saw. Not to mention it can get Volcanic Island, so Bloodstained Mire can already get all 3 colors of our mana, just like Polluted Delta can. Faithless Looting would be really good. Messenger would be decent in this deck. Liliana's Triumph might be a good pickup, especially if we can find a Liliana of any kind, but Bloodstained Mire is just too good to pass. Okay, so there's a Force of Will in this pack, and a Grey Merchant. We do have a lot of black mana symbols, and Grey Merchant can definitely swing the board. But I think we need some lower cost interaction. So, in my opinion, our picks here should be between Liliana the Veil, Fire and Ice, or like Force of Will. But we have no blue cards in the deck yet, meaning that Force of Will is actually kind of bad in this deck. I'm inclined to take Liliana, because we might just be splashing blue for Nicol Bolas at this point with how heavy our mana costs are. I like Fire and Ice. I think it's very versatile, but I'm going to take Lily. Okay. So in this pack we have Cavalier of Night, which is a Bone Splinters on a body that when it dies you can reanimate a creature of CMC 3 or less, meaning we could get back Young Pyromancer or Gatekeeper, but not Murderous Rider, because Murderous Rider goes to the bottom of the deck when it dies. There's also Bizarre Trade Mage, which is actually pretty decent, just like a big loot. And Reanimate. We have a couple of ways to get cards in our hand in the grave between Seasoned Pyromancer, Liliana, and Bedlam Reveler. So like we could take Reanimate and be doing Reanimator things. I'm gonna take Cavalier of Night. Tamio's Bay. So Nicol Bolas does get better the more Planeswalkers you have because it basically just grants him more abilities. I kind of want to take Tamio, but I don't know how good a double blue card is going to be in a deck with this many double and triple black sources, or double and triple black cards, and double red cards is going to be. Our mana is like fairly decent, so it might work. Alternatively, just take Thoughtseize, which is pretty good. There's also like a Flame Tongue Kavu, but we're kind of getting heavy. We need lower cost cards, so I'm going to take Thoughtseize. Okay. Taiga, I don't think is going to be good for us. There's no reason for us to get green. Woodland Cemetery, same reason. So our pick here should really be like Necrotal. I want to take Time Warp or Narset Parter Veils. And Narset's good. I think she's better in Vintage and Vintage Cube than she is in Legacy Cube. I'm going to take Necrotal. That might be a mistake, but we'll see. Okay. So in this pack we have Legion Warboss. Technically Phantasmal Image. I'm not playing through the Breach. Everflowing Chalice could be good, and we have Vampire Nighthawk. There's also Exhume, which I'm probably not going to take for the same reason I didn't take Reanimate. I think Warboss is going to be a little better than... Oh gosh. We're going to go for the big Quadra Black Obliterator. We only have 2 triple black cards. Technically 3 if you count the kicker mode of Gatekeeper. Yeah, let's take Obliterator. We might just be mono black at this point. Okay, Wooded Foothills can fetch Volcanic Island. That's not very useful for us. It does not synergize with Taiga, because it would just be getting green at that point. So the pick is Cryptbreaker or Read the Bones. Technically Luca, but we don't have anything big to like wheel Luca into. I'm going to take Read the Bones. Alright, Geralf's Messenger or Liliana's Triumph. There's also looting. So Liliana's Triumph is very, very powerful if we have Liliana of the Veil and we go up against a creature-based deck. Messenger, on the other hand... Yeah, I'll take Messenger. We might just be mono black with, like, Splash for Nicol Bolas. Grey Merchant seems pretty sweet. I'll take Grey Merchant at this point. I don't think we're playing any of these cards, but I'll throw Magister of Worth on the side. Same with, I guess, Engineered Explosives. I was going to say Devil's Play, but Engineered Explosives is just better. Okay, so we're basically mono black Grixis right now. We can't justify other colors unless we start getting a lot more fixing, I don't think. So, like, Murderous Redcap is really good in this deck because whether or not we play red, it's going to be easier to cast. And it's actually, like, pretty decent in what it does. Gutterbones, Profane Command are, like, okay. But I'm not sure we're going to be aggro enough for Gutterbones, and Profane Command will probably wheel anyway. I'll take Redcap. We could take Prismatic Lens. It technically filters our ramps. It depends on whether we want to be control-y or mid-rangey or aggro-y. For aggro-y, we're not taking this. I'll take Prismatic Lens. We don't have a lot of low drops, and we kind of need more. Okay. So it's between Brain Maggot, Bedevil, Bonfire. I'm not too big on Bonfire here. I think Bonfire's better in decks where you're like actually casting mana rocks and stuff. Like we have a couple, but that's not like the main game plan. I kind of want to take Bedevil, but Brain Maggot I think is a little bit better. Disrupting your opponent's hand is very powerful, especially with something like this. And making them expend removal to get their card back. This is basically a distress that they can counter with like a lightning bolt. And every piece of removal that's on this is one that's not aimed at Obliterator. Just saying. So I'm gonna take Brain Maggot. Okay, Ingress Rampage seems good. We do have a number of creatures, and we could take Midnight Reaper. Darkslick Shores, I guess technically helps us splash for Bolas. Maybe I should take Darkslick Shores here. So we already have 23 playable cards. We don't have any other blue cards than Nicol Bolas. And none that we're really considering in the side other than maybe Engineered Explosives. I'll take... I'll take Darkslick Shores. There could be something else that comes around that we'd really want to play. So we have no Swamp Duel of any kind, so Marsh Flats is not as good. I could still take it, though. just based on the assumption that we might get one yet. I think Searing Spear is decent. Knight's Whisper is also good. Porcelain Legionnaire can be played in any deck. Pack Rat is very good. Pack Rat can win the game by himself. So maybe we take Pack Rat. I think it's Pack Rat or Marsh Flats. I'm going to go with Pack Rat. Okay, Overgrown Tomb. I don't know if there's any green fetches left. Yeah, because Wooded Foothills was in the last pack. We haven't seen Misty Rainforest, but I guarantee if that's been opened, somebody took it. We could take Gravecrawler and be kind of a zombie deck. We have a lot of zombies. Because it's like Gravecrawler or Living Death. Yeah, I'll take Gravecrawler. Alright, straight up Doomblade. We could take Immortal Sun and synergize with Nicol Bolas in a way that I would not appreciate. I think I'm going to go with probably Drana. Drana or Doomblade? No, let's take Doomblade. We're probably cutting a lot of our red cards anyway. So that means we're cutting most of our good removal between Hour and Sweltering Suns. Okay, Dark Ritual. If we're mono black, Dark Ritual is amazing. It fixes for Nicol Bolas, technically. Yeah, I'll take Dark Ritual. Playing turn 1 Liliana the Veil is just good. Bolas's Citadel. No. I mean, we do have a lot of ways to gain life. Like, we have several life-linking cards, Smiting Helix, etc. But I don't think it's worth. We'll take Steam Vents. So we have 2 blue-red sources now. That's what we're probably going to be fetching off of our fetch lands. So Red Cap or Gutter Bones. Or Profane Command, technically. It's like a really bad Fireball. Yeah, we'll take Red Cap. I think Bedevil here is the pick. Rampage, Knight's Whisper, Living Death. I don't think we're playing Living Death. We can bring it in if we're playing against a particularly grindy opponent, but like... Living Death is only good if you have a bunch of creatures in the grave and they don't. Or one absurdly powerful creature in the grave and they don't. I gotta remember to stay in frame. The way that I have the camera set up here is kind of weird. Okay, take the lands out for a second. I really like Pyromancer. But I think I'm cutting Hour and Bedlam Reveler. Hang on. Group creatures separately. We should be cutting some non-creatures. I'd like to have our commitment to red be as minimal as possible. So I'm going to cut Sweltering Suns. Pyromancer, I might be willing to try and splash for here. We do have a few red lands and a few red cards we can get off of fetches. But the fact that we don't have a Blood Crypt or a Badlands makes this a lot harder. I'm going to get rid of it, actually. I really want it, but I don't think I can make it work. So I need to cut 4 cards, approximately. And they should probably be non-creatures. I think I'm going to take out Read the Bones. I probably should cut Nicol Bolas, but he's the whole reason I'm in this situation, so I'm going to make him work. Smiting Helix, we can technically splash off our mana rocks. I'm gonna cut Doomblade. We'll run Doomblade if we run up against a creature deck not playing black. Legion Warboss, Murderous Redcap's kind of fun. Mentor to undo the persist triggers. Extinction Event can still be good, depending on like what our board looks like versus what our opponent's board looks like. We have a lot of creature removal and creature removal stapled onto bodies, so like we have Gatekeeper, Murderous Rider, Rankle, Necrotal, and Cavalier of Night, and Murderous Redcap. So that's all removal. So it's possible that we need to cut some removal out of our non-creatures here, because that should our opponent's board should be well controlled just by the virtue of us playing the creatures we have. So maybe we don't need Extinction Event unless we come up against an aggro deck that like counters our strategy somehow. I think I'm going to cut Prismatic Lens. Coalition Relic is good because it can produce like double black or blue-black or blue-red if we need it. But we don't need to get to all that much mana for this deck to work. So in a deck that has triple and quadruple black spells, we have 4 lands that do not tap for black. Island, Mountain, Steam Vents, Volcanic Island. I actually think I'm going to cut the island and the mountain and just add 2 swamps. The problem is, for every non-swamp in the deck, that is 1 turn we're not playing Obliterator. We can sort of undo 1. Like if we have a Volcanic Island on turn 2, as an example, and play Ingress Rampage, then if we have Coalition Relic, we can undo the fact that we played a non-swamp land into a turn 4 Obliterator. But I would much rather be playing Obliterator on turn 4 than most of the other spells. We just didn't see a lot of like good blue-red cards as opposed to extremely powerful mono-black cards. All right. Excuse me. I will see you guys in round 1. All right, here we go. We lost the die roll, so we are on the draw. This hand is a little bit too slow for us. We do have kind of a heavy curve, but we curve out at like 4 and 5. So I'm going to keep this. I'm going to put back Dark Slick Shores. Yeah, we'll put back Dark Slick Shores. Opponent starts Polluted Delta, cracks Polluted Delta, and finds Tundra. Into a Terramander. We draw Steam Vents. We're going to play Steam Vents. Pass the turn. That's not what I wanted to draw. Okay, opponent's going to get in for 1. We draw a swamp. Well, play Brain Maggot. Opponent brainstorms. There's a card in their hand they want to hide from Brain Maggot. That tells me they either don't have removal for Brain Maggot or there's something they really don't want us to see for some reason. Let's take a look at their hand here. So all we can take is an opt. They have fatties, so they're probably playing Reanimator. I guess we take the opt. Oh no, because this isn't non-creature. For some reason I was thinking this was non-creature. Is that Kitesail Freebooter? That might be Kitesail Freebooter. Our opponent is a long way off of casting any of these, so I'm going to take the opt. It could very likely be that they put Reanimate back on top of their deck, or like a way to discard plus Reanimate. Okay, opponent gets in for 1. We're not blocking. Opponent played the plains and pass. We draw Gravecrawler. Play a swamp. Go to combat. Get in for 1. Opponent pathed. Sure, we'll get a swamp. Go to our main. Play Pack Rat. Play Gravecrawler. So it looks like our opponent put Path back on top of their deck. I mean, they could have just pathed it. I think Brain Maggot doesn't have the old wording. Exile that card until Brain Maggot leaves the battlefield. Yeah, so our opponent could have just pathed in response. And we would have ended up seeing, I think, less of their hand than they showed us, because Brainstorm would have shown us an additional card. But I don't know. Opponent morphs. This is probably a chroma, I would imagine. Okay, so we draw Smiting Helix. We could Smiting Helix the morph and attack with Gravecrawler. We could also just play Kalitas and then attack with Gravecrawler. I kind of like that. I don't know if my opponent can flip this. It could be. They could also have the blue morph that counters a spell, I think from Khans of Tarkir. Yeah, I think I'm just going to play Kalitas and attack. Go to combat. Attack for 2. No blocks from our opponent. Opponent goes to 17. Play Polluted Delta, pass the turn. Opponent plays an island, so they are a turn away from casting Torrential Gearhulk. We know these are probably their 3 cards in hand because none of these have morph. Okay. So we could sack Gravecrawler, put 2/1/1 counters on Kalitas. Or we can just try and Smiting Helix the Morph. I think we play a Swamp, go to combat, and swing for the fences. Depending on how our opponent blocks, we can activate Kalitas, or we can activate Packrat twice. So there's no harm now in making an extra rat. So that's going to make it a 5/5. And I guess that just means we have to sack the Gravecrawler, but that's okay. Okay, we get a zombie, we gain a bunch of life, pass the turn, and now we can Gravecrawler sack, Gravecrawler sack. But it does have a Torrential Gearhulk or a Magister of Worth. Okay. So we vote Grace, but our opponent votes Condemnation. So I guess we have to vote Condemnation. Okay, we get a zombie out of the deal. So let's recast Gravecrawler. Go to combat. Attack for 2. Okay, opponent blocks. So, okay, it was Stratus Dancer. I was right. Why do I have the auto yield sign there? I don't like that. Not sure why that card is exiled. So now we have a little bit of a problem. We need to draw like Obliterator. So our opponent's last card in hand is Torrential Gearhulk. Dark Ritual does nothing for us here. So we have 6. So like Extinction Event would not be good in this matchup, I don't think. And we're not even running it. But it wouldn't be good in this situation, I'm pointing out, because our opponent has like a bunch of like different costs here. And they'll end up with 1 even, 1 odd. So while Extinction Event would just be like a Vraska's Contempt kind of spell here at sorcery speed, it wouldn't be that great. So opponent's going to get in for 4. They're going to hold Torrential Gearhulk. We draw Gray Merchant. That pings our opponent for 2. I think we just wait. It doesn't block anything our opponent plays, and doesn't buy us any additional time. Plus we have enough mana here between this extra Swamp and Dark Ritual that if we draw something, potentially we could play it and then play Gray Merchant. But like if we drew Obliterator, we could gain 6 instead of just 2. So opponent is flashing back Brainstorm. We no longer know what is in their hand. They're going to be Brainstorm locked for a turn. They play a land. They get in for 11. They're holding 2 unknowns. We draw Angrath's Rampage. Okay. Make our opponent sack a creature. They shouldn't have any more big flash threats, so I'm going to wait one more turn on this Green Merchant. Opponent plays a Maze of Ith. Gets in for 4. We get a Necrotal. Wow, okay. I did not expect our opponent to be playing Remove Souls. Alright. We're gonna wait one more turn. Hopefully they don't have Snapcaster as their last card. Okay, they play a land. 1 unknown in hand. They get in for 4, take us to 2. We untap. There's Obliterator. Play Obliterator. Dark Ritual. Gray Merchant. Another counterspell. Are you kidding me? Alright, pass turn. We got a block now. That's really sad. I thought for sure that would work. So we could have Dark Ritualed to save Grey Merchant when we cast it, but like... And they top deck Elspeth Conquers Death. What even? Alright, you got me. So our opponent is playing like Esper Control into Fatties. I was really worried that they were going to be Reanimator for like extremely fast big dudes being cast. Unintentional alliteration. But I'm going to bring in Doomblade. I think I'm going to go down Drana. Which doesn't seem very useful here. We should probably bring in Living Death as a way to like recycle all of our dudes. Because odds are they're going to kill a bunch of our guys before they even have a creature in the grave. And this is a way to like kill their first fat creature they play. I think I'm going to drop Smiting Helix. I am not impressed with how it's behaving. Maybe we should bring in Read the Bones as well. I don't know about that, actually. Alright, let's try running it like this. Alright, I would love to play first. So this is a mulligan to 6. Just automatically. It's actually a mulligan to 5. So we're going to mulligan to 6 instead. Okay, turn 2 Rankle could be good. Could be really good, actually. So we'll keep. We either put back a Swamp or we put back a Messenger. So I can play Messenger on turn 1, it just doesn't do anything. I think we're going to put back the Messenger and go all in on the Rankle. We need other cards that don't do anything to discard to Rankle. Start Steam Vents tapped. Pass the turn. I think the only thing that would make me not turn 1 Rankle here, or turn 2 Rankle, would be if we got Obliterator or something. But so opponent is representing Path mana. I still think we have to do this, otherwise our hand is just going to not do anything for too long. And they have a bunch of counter spells on too that could hit a creature. Alright, sweet. So get in with Rankle. We'll say each player discards a card. So we get rid of a Swamp. Opponent gets rid of Magister of Worth. Opponent plays an island, preordains. Was kind of hoping they would cast a creature. Heck, even if they play a land and play like a Signet or something, we can make them sack that instead. Go get a Doomblade. So play a land. Get in with Rankle. I think we're going to draw a card. Okay. So now we have a Doomblade. I didn't really want to discard either of these cards. I didn't want to give my opponent cards either, but... Our opponent might be afraid of a counterspell, which is kind of funny if they are. So play a Swamp, go to combat. Attack with Rankle. Opponent is going to flash in Vendilion Click, which is going to get Doombladed out of existence. So opponent can take a look at our Angrath's Rampage and click it if they want. They do. We get a Grey Merchant. We're going to make everybody discard and then draw. Discard Bloodstained Mire. We get a Swamp. Then we pass. So opponent plays a Maze of Ith, which makes Rankle no longer a problem. We draw Coalition Relic. Go to combat. Get in with Rankle. Okay, they say no, we don't. Play a Swamp. We're going to make an effort to play around Mana Leak by playing Coalition Relic first. Opponent plays an island. Charge counter on Relic. Untap. We draw Legion Warboss. So let's add red. Play Warboss. Go to combat. Make a Goblin. Attack with everybody. Opponent says no on the Rankle. Opponent takes one. We pass. Opponent Supreme Will. I guess playing around Mana Leak is kind of good. They weren't willing to counter a Mana Rock, and I absolutely think they would have countered Grey Merchant. So if our opponent has no creatures and no answers, we do have lethal, because we will hit them for at least 4 next turn, and then we could Grey Merchant to kill them. But that implies our opponent has nothing of consequence. Oh look, something of consequence. No attacks for our opponent. Charge counter on Relic. Untap. Draw Volcanic Island, which is the exact opposite of what I wanted to draw. I guess we play Grey Merchant here. It's something that can attack into Rankle with a Goblin token. So, like, there's not really any use in saving it. So we shoot our opponent for 2, disappointingly. Make a Goblin that has to attack. So we could attack here and here as well, but our opponent can Mystifying Maze anything they want. So they're just going to chump with Rankle. Not chump, but they're going to block profitably, obviously, but... Okay, pass the turn. Okay, opponent untaps. Okay. Opponent's main phase. They go to combat. They might be tempted to attack and hit us with discard mode, which would be okay because we don't need this. Charge up Coalition Relic. Untap. We draw Brain Maggot. And black mana. Play Brain Maggot. Opponent does have the counter spell. Okay. Pass, make a token that has to attack. Token gets insta-yeeted by Rankle. Okay, we will use Path's ability to get a swamp. Opponent has not drawn a land for a few turns. And they're on 5 mana, so they could be like... They don't have Torrential Gearhulk, obviously, it's in the grave. They don't have Magister of Worth. The only other big fat creature we saw from them last game was... what's her bucket? Elish Norn? That's right. Okay, Pack Rat's good. Play Pack Rat. Alright. Pass the turn. As long as our opponent doesn't play Elish Norn before we play 2 more rats, we're fine. That's an island. It's possible I should have held this in my hand. Man, do you remember playing Pack Rat and Grey Merchant together in Standard? I do. Opponent ousts a token. Okay. That tells me they do not have Elish Norn. Usually when you cast Oust, you want to oust something that doesn't have a lot of value, because you want me to redraw those things. You don't want to oust tokens unless you just don't have a better target. So this is Stratus Dancer, almost certainly. There's not a lot of morph creatures in this cube. I forget what its morph cost is. I think it's just reveal a blue card in your hand. So we draw Geralf's Messenger. So I guess we just try and cast Messenger here. Oh, it worked. That's nice. Opponent gets drained for 2. This way, if they play Elesh Norn, they're guaranteed to take 2 more. And it'll be a creature that'll stick around after it comes back. Okay, pass the turn. I almost wish this was a pack rat, but this is a pretty good draw here. Elspeth Conquers Death. Well, that's an answer for Messenger. Yeah, okay. So that lets them get back Magister of Worth or Torrential Gearhulk, meaning we are on a short clock. Pitch Volcanic Island. Charge up Coalition Relic. Untap. Draw Ingrath's Rampage. And red mana. It's too bad we can't make them sack an enchantment. Because either way, that would be very bad for them. So we have to make them sack a creature. Or we make another pack rat. If we make a pack rat, our rats will trade with anything they have. Yeah, I think we just attack. Opponent will probably block Rankle on Grey Merchant and the Morph on a pack rat token. If they really think the rats are a problem, they can block both rats. We can make a rat, and we'll be -2 rats, but they're out of creatures, other than the manland. Okay, well, we've committed. So we go down to 1 rat. Pass the turn. But now our opponent has... What is happening with that? Okay. But now our opponent has Celestial Colonnade they could block with that we currently don't have an answer to. And next turn they're going to get back something very, very bad for our health. We can't even attack because they just animate Colonnade and then Mazavith the other one. Oh man, this is why they stopped printing control magic effects in limited formats for a long period of time. Like the last one I remember was either in like M11, M12, or one of the Mirrodin blocks. The Scars Mirrodin block, I mean. And for a long time, they didn't print any because it was... In Limited, it was so hard to deal with this. Because your opponent got to answer your biggest threat while playing your biggest threat. So then you had to answer your own biggest threat, and it was a huge problem. Okay, opponent gets in for 4. We go to 19. We untap. Draw another swamp. Oh, man. Well, here's hoping we can draw something. Kind of regret taking out Smiting Helix, because Smiting Helix would instantly gib our opponent. So maybe we needed it for the reach. I think I mentioned that while I was taking it out. I was like, I hope we don't need this for reach. I took it out because I was thinking of it as a removal spell anyway. Opponent takes us to 10. They have one more swing, they can take us to 1. We draw Bedevil. So I guess we just do that now. Red, black, black. Technically, it would have been better to do that on my opponent's upkeep. That way, if they did have like a taxing mana spell that they were going to try and use, they'd have to use up mana that they would otherwise be needing to animate Colonnade. Okay, opponent flashes in Containment Priest, keeping the clock at 2 turns. Opponent plays a Plains, only 1 card in hand. Fires up Colonnade. Gonna get in for 6. Sure. So now the problem is we need an answer to Colonnade, or a way to gain life, or we just die. Too little, too late, but I will cast a Obliterator in Defiance. Opponent plays a Tundra. Yep, fires up Colonnade. You've earned it, opponent. Go ahead and take the last hit. So I don't think I've made any misplays that resulted in me losing extra life. Oh, man. Well, I don't think that changed anything, because this is a sorcery speed answer. Yeah, that's sad. Alright, well, I will see you all in round 2. Alrighty, welcome to round 2, everybody. This is not a very fast hand. I think I'm going to mulligan this. Alright, this does more things and quicker, so I will keep. You're going to put back Gray Merchant. Okay. Right, we draw Ingrass Rampage, start Swamp, pass the turn. Opponent fetches a Forest, plays an Underground Sea. Can we draw Kalitas, Trader of Get? So we can either go down the Pack Rat route, or we can just play a Bear. I think we play Gatekeeper of Malakir. Pass the turn. We'd like to play Pack Rat when we have enough lands to play it and have a chance to make a duplicate really fast. Okay, opponent plays a Crucible of Worlds. This gives us a good opportunity to Ingrass Rampage. Target player sacks an artifact. Get in for 2. Letting our opponent make a land drop every turn is, I think, a little too powerful. Especially if they're lacking lands to play. Okay, they play a mountain, so they are at least 4 colors. They play a Garruk Relentless. They make a wolf. Can we draw Dark Ritual? So we can Dark Ritual out Kalitas. Or we can play Messenger and Packrat. Or we could play Packrat and Liliana. I think just playing Kalitas and attacking Garrick is probably better. Actually, I don't know if we're attacking Garrick or our opponent. Let's attack our opponent. If they want to keep making wolves for now, that's okay. I don't want to let them flip Garrick and then have him activate his ability. If they want to activate his ability, they need to do it before he flips, basically. Okay, opponent thought seizes us. They see a handful of good targets. They probably take Liliana, because we can't cast Messenger and Packrat. I mean, they could take Packrat if they're worried they can't answer Packrat. They take Lily. Okay, it's about what we expected. They play a forest. And a natural order. Oh no. This is not what I had anticipated. Dragonthorn to Tarka. Okay. Alright, our opponent is just doing more powerful things than we are. Then they can Garrick, kill Gatekeeper, and flip Garrick. Alright, well, good to know that us doing the not attack Garrick play didn't contribute to us getting royally destroyed here. Yeah, let's go to next game. So definitely want Doomblade. There is some argument for Living Death. I probably want Extinction Event. I'm gonna cut... What am I gonna cut? This is tough. I think I'm gonna cut Night's Whisper. And then I'm gonna run 41 cards and regret it. Alright, we'll play first. This is a keep. Start Lava Claw Reaches, pass the turn. Opponent plays a Hex Drinker. Play a Swamp, play a Rat. Pass the turn. Okay, opponent levels up Hex Drinker twice, does not attack. We draw Geralf's Messenger, play a swamp, go to combat, attack for 1. Play Liliana. Down tick on our opponent's guy. Pass the turn. Opponent plays Crucible of Worlds. Okay. And passes. We untap. We draw Volcanic Island, which means we're going to play Nicol Bolas Dragon God on curve, which is pretty sweet. So, take up Liliana. Discard Gravecrawler. Opponent discards a forest. Play a swamp. Play Messenger. Ping our opponent. Play Gravecrawler. Go to combat. Get in for 1. The coolest part is Nicol Bolas will be able to use Liliana's ultimate relatively quickly. So opponent plays a forest out of their grave. We untap, we draw Coalition Relic. Yep, go to combat. Hit him with everything. Opponent takes a lot. Play Volcanic Island. Play Nicol Bolas. Tick up Liliana. I think we're just gonna make each opponent discard a card here. We don't need to draw an extra card right now. Okay. So opponent is not really discarding cards because they are getting to play lands out of the grave here, but that's okay. Alright, we got there. Turns out if you have 2 active Liliana of the Veils, and one's about to ultimate, your opponent is going to concede very quickly. Alright, let's move on to game 3. We also had a very, very strong curve there. And playing Nicol Bolas Dragon God on curve. Do you see what I mean when I was talking about that during draft? Like how strong that is? And if we didn't have the mana that we did, we would be casting him on like turn 6 or 7, and that would not have had the same impact at all. So we're going to keep this hand. Hopefully start with an early Brain Maggot. Opponent starts Arbor Elf, sure. We'll play Darkslick Shores, pass the turn. Good news is if our opponent goes from like 1 to 3 to 5 in their creatures, Extinction Event will be very good, provided we actually get the mana to get there, because we will be playing mostly even cost creatures. Okay, opponent plays Coalition Relic. And a Thoughtseize. Okay, so they can take Brain Maggot, which is our only actual play for a while. Yep, they take Brain Maggot. We untap, we draw Cavalier of Night, play a swamp, no plays. Okay, opponent's got 4 mana play, it looks like. It's Courser, so they're going to draw Tooth and Nail. They play a land, gain a life. So it is in our best interest to limit our opponent's mana production as quickly as possible. Play a swamp. Let's go ahead and Murderous Rider, Swift End. We can either take them off of a mana or we can take them off of the top of their deck. Let's just do this now. Take out Courser, pass the turn. Hopefully we draw land for Necrotal, and then we can Necrotal into Rankle and just have a good time. So opponent adds a green mana. Plays a Crucible. Plays a Marsh Flats. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So they can Tooth and Nail if they have a big creature in hand and put it onto the board, but that won't win with how much removal we're holding. But they are guaranteed to get up to Tooth and Nail mana. Okay, we get a swamp. So let's... I kind of like Necrotal the most here. That opens us up to Rankle's Sacrifice a Creature mode. Because Necrotal, while it's good, we can use it to sacrifice just a 2/1 first strike when our opponent's probably sacrificing something bigger. Also, Necrotal takes them off mana immediately. Alright, play a swamp. I think we gotta play Rankle. Hit our opponent for 5. So as long as our opponent doesn't like Tooth and Nail a Hasted Emrakul, we're probably okay. So each player discards a card. We're going to discard Smiting Helix. Hopefully we don't need it for reach, like we have 2 other times. Opponent loses Reclamation Sage. Okay. Opponent puts a charge counter on Coalition Relic. We play an Elves of Deep Shadow. We untap. We draw Geralf's Messenger. Go to combat. Attack with both. Okay, so we hit our opponent to 6. We're going to make each player discard. I think I'm going to discard Extinction Event here. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So opponent's last card is Tooth and Nail. I think they're hoping to top deck a huge 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, I actually think it's worth Cavaliering here. We'll sack Necrotal. Kill Elves of Deep Shadow. Pass the turn. So opponent has to draw... I don't think they actually... They have to have Tooth and Nail big creature and be willing to play Marsh Flats out of the grave. I probably should have discarded Giralf's Messenger, but... Because if they had, like... Atarka wouldn't do it, but if they had... Actually, Atarka would do it if they killed the Cavalier. Yeah, if they had gotten Atarka and Tooth and Nailed to play Atarka, or played Atarka herself, they could kill Cavalier of Night, we'd reanimate Brain Maggot, and then we'd have Rankle. We could ping them for 2, they'd go to 4, but then they have an 8/8 trample, and we don't really have a good board. So I think I discarded too much removal to be safe, but without much payoff. I think I actually misplayed the end there, but I'm glad we won. Alright, I will see you guys in round 3. Alrighty, everybody, welcome back to round 3. We lost the die roll, so we will be on the draw. We do have a Dark Ritual, but unfortunately nothing to Dark Ritual into. I think we gotta keep this, especially on the draw. Okay. Opponent starts Forest. We'll start Steam Vents, pass the turn. Opponent plays Tropical Island into Serum Visions. We draw Thoughtseize. Now we can Thoughtseize or we can Pack Rat here, and I kind of like playing Pack Rat. If our opponent doesn't have an answer to it now, it's going to be a problem for our opponent later. Plus, next turn we can hold up Bedevil or activate Pack Rat. Okay, opponent plays Klothys. Draw a Swamp. So play a Swamp, go to combat. Attack for 1. Opponent's turn. They're going to deal some damage to us. Oh, do they gain life for that too? Interesting, okay. I didn't realize red-green could also do the Lightning Helix effect. It's kind of funny. Okay, opponent plays an Uro. So they're going to gain some life and explore. Okay, they play a Steam Vents tapped. Sack Uro. So discard a swamp, make a rat, untap, draw a swamp. So we could Dark Ritual and make 2 rats and attack our opponent for 8. I don't know if our opponent could deal with that, actually. Because we go from 4 to 6. Otherwise we can just Thoughtseize and make a rat. I kind of like that. Let's start Thoughtseize. Opponent has Snapcaster and Natural Order. So Snapcaster they can actually play. Natural Order is a much bigger problem. So I think we have to take Natural Order. Okay. So go to combat. Attack, attack. And we're going to go ahead and discard... We'll discard a swamp. Make a rat. Hit our opponent for 6. Pass the turn. Okay, opponent's going to exile our Thoughtseize, ping us. And do nothing, okay? So they have they have Snapcaster. Let's Night's Whisper. Draw Lava Claw Reaches and Obliterator. So play Lava Claw Reaches. Go to combat. Attack our opponent for 9. Do we want to make that 12? I think we do. So that's Dark Ritual. We're going to discard Bedevil. Opponent takes 12, goes to 8. Man, I love Pack Rat so much. Opponent has Snapcaster, a land, and 1 unknown. I'm trying to think of what would get them out of this. Like Pulse of Murasa would, because that would buy them so much time. Okay, they hit us for 2. Opponent could just play a Searing Wind and kill us. I don't know if Searing Wind is in Legacy Cube though. It'd be really funny if it was. Urza's Rage might be. I don't know if they have enough mana for Urza's Rage. Opponent is in the tank. Okay, opponent's going to Snapcaster Mage. Don't think they have a green creature. I don't think they can cast it on Kolith. Oh, they drew Hex Drinker. Well, let's see what happens here. Opponent can Natural Order for something big, dumb, and green. Dragon Lord Atarka. So they could kill a Pack Rat. Sure. Okay. We draw Necrotal. So we can Necrotol Atarka, hit our opponent for 6. We can just play Grey Merchant, hit our opponent for 5. Then they take 3 and go to 2. Or I can play Obliterator. The danger is, if this survives, we die because we get shocked and then take 8 in the air and there's nothing we can do about it. So I guess we do have to Necrotol. Sad face. I really, really wanted to Obliterator there. Plus, if we don't show them that we have Grey Merchant, they might suspect it, but without being able to confirm it for sure, it's good information to hide if we need to. Opponent has to have a pretty good top deck in order to kill us here. Or, I mean, to win or recover, not necessarily kill us. Okay, opponent's going to exile Packrat. They go to 3, we go to 8. Okay, opponent plays Eternal Witness. We're going to pick up Uro. No, they're going to pick up Hex Drinker. Okay. That doesn't do anything. So they're thinking they can go to 1. Alright, let's just play Grey Merchant and end it. There's no reason to slow roll and potentially allow our opponent to get back in this game. Just to hide Grey Merchant. It was one thing if they were just going to die on board anyway, but it's another thing entirely to risk losing the game. Cool. So definitely want Doomblade. We probably want Doomblade over, like, Drana. There is some argument for Engineered Explosives. I think our opponent is playing a lot of low mana permanents. But let's just run it back. Alrighty. Game 2. This is a fairly decent curve. I'm gonna keep. There is some chance that we just rip nothing but lands and play an amazing Nicol Bolas. Star Gravecrawler. Pass the turn. I'm going to place a Wall of Blossoms into a tropical island. I draw Murderous Rider. Unfortunately, I think we just have to play a no-value Gatekeeper here. We're going to follow this up with either Liliana or Murderous Rider, depending on whether or not we need targeted removal. Okay, Murderous Rider it is. When it gets in for 5, and take it. Draw Ingrath's Rampage. We're going to fetch up Volcanic Island. And Swift End the Questing Beast. Go to combat. Attack for 2. Okay, opponent plays a Birds of Paradise. I think if we draw a land, it's better to play Rankle. Okay, we drew a land. Yeah, Rankle, incoming. Go to combat. Attack. Opponent blocks. Takes 5. We're going to make each player sack a creature and each player discard. So we're going to discard Angrath's Rampage because we don't need it. And then we're going to sack Gravecrawler. Okay, opponent sacks Wall of Blossoms. And pass. Dragon Lord Atarka. Kind of a big deal. So we really need to draw any untapped land. That is not one of those things I asked for. I think we have to Smiting Helix and hope again for an untapped land in the next turn. Okay, opponent gets in for 8. We go to 6. And for follow-up, they have Jadelight Ranger. That is a problem. Okay, they reveal Hex Drinker twice. We draw Messenger, but there's nothing we can do, so we scoop it up. Damn. It's possible I should have drawn with Rankle. I just really did not want my opponent to be able to draw as well. Okay, so it would have been a tap land anyway. I think I am going to bring in Extinction Event, because dropping Extinction Event, naming Odd, is going to wreck our opponent's board with all the mana dorks they play. It's also an answer to Hex Drinker if they somehow level it up into a Progenitus type deal. I'm going to cut Night's Whisper for it. Alright, I'll play first. This seems fine. We'll keep. Start Darkslick Shores. Pass the turn. Opponent starts Steam Vents tapped. Okay, no mana dork. Draw Volcanic Island. This might be an on-curve Nicol Bolas yet again. So play Pack Rat. Pass the turn. I'm almost hoping at this point Pack Rat gets answered, because I don't want to discard cards. But we'll see what happens. Okay. We draw a Swamp. Play a Swamp. Go to combat. Get in for 1. We'll leave up Doomblade and activate Pack Rat as our options here. If we activate Pack Rat, we're discarding Cavalier of Night. I don't think we can risk discarding a land here. Okay, opponent plays Clothis. That's fine. Now, we don't really have a way to recur Cavalier, and Cavalier will have probably no targets. We could actually discard Doomblade. Or we could cast Doomblade. I think we're going to cast Doomblade. Untap. Okay, we draw Lava Claw Reaches, so play a swamp. Go to combat. No reason to wait on this. We're going to go ahead and discard Lava Claw Reaches. Get in for 2. Okay. Opponent's probably going to exile Doomblade. Yep. We take 2, they gain 2. They play an island. And a questing beast. Well. Take 4. Now the question is, ooh, do we play Nicol? We can play Nicol Bolas and Downtick. We can play Rankle. This doesn't have reach, does it? On its massive block of text. Okay. We could play Rankle, make our opponent discard and sack. We could sack a Pack Rat and... Actually, we probably won't sack a Pack Rat because they'll block. So Rankle's out. Do we play Cavalier or Nicol Bolas? I think we play Cavalier. And we'll sack the... no, we don't want to... I think it's Nicol Bolas time. Nicol Bolas, happy fun time. That was a deck that my good friend played in Ravnica Standard, and it was green-blue Defender ramp into Nicol Bolas Planeswalker. And it didn't play a single red-black land in the deck. It just like used Axebane Guardian to cast him at an absurd mana cost. It was fantastic. And then the rest of the deck was like Cyclonic Rifts. So you just kept yeeting your opponent's board back into their hand every turn. If you played against control decks, they often didn't take you seriously, so then you like... you just cast Nicol Bolas versus a control deck because they tap out for a big Planeswalker, think they're safe. No one is safe from Nicol Bolas. I'm glad this isn't targeted damage, thankfully. Yeah, opponent's gonna exile Hex Drinker. We take 2, they gain 2. Five mana, opponent plays Biogenic Ooze. Scary. Put 1/1 counters on everything. We untap, we draw Legion Warboss. Uptick Nicol Bolas. We get Bedevil. Bedevil is pretty good. Opponent exiles Snapcaster Mage. I think we're going to save Bedevil, and if we draw our other red source, we can Bedevil and Warboss in the same turn. It's kind of low chance. I think our best bet is to play Cavalier of Night and sack our Token Rat to kill the actual Biogenic Ooze. This gives us a life linker and a way to regain life. Sacrifice, yeah, we'll sacrifice the token. Kill Biogenic Ooze. Okay, no attacks. Pass the turn. What is happening with my camera? Am I rolling over? I think I might be rolling over the green background here. I need to find a slightly better way to do it than what I've been doing, because it's at like a weird angle. Alright, opponent pays 5 mana. Mystic Confluence. They're going to bounce both of our guys back to our hand. And they're going to take out Nicol Bolas. Okay. We untap. We draw Grey Merchant. So let's Legion Warboss. Pack Rat. Make a hasty dude. Get in for 1. Okay, opponent goes to 18. Now we can Cavalier of Night and follow it up with Gary. That's sweet. Okay, opponent's going to yeet Nicol Bolas into the Prison Realm, also known as Exile. Clothis more powerful than Nicol Bolas confirmed. No blocks. We'll take 3 and go to 5. Hopefully our opponent is not playing Lava Axe. I would laugh so hard if I got Lava Axed in an Eternal format cube of some kind. That would be just perfect. Like, they could have Mountain Fiery Confluence or something like that. I don't think they'd ever put Lava Axe in an Eternal format cube. But I would laugh so hard if I died to it. Okay, opponent plays a row. Gains life and explores. I sack a row. And play Noble Hierarch. We untap. We draw a swamp. We play a swamp. Cavalier of Night enters the battlefield. We will sack Goblin, kill Ooze, and make a token. Get aggressive. We'll hold back Pack Rat as an emergency blocker, just because the token has to attack. And our opponent for 4. We are going down into Lightning Bolt range. But that only happens if our opponent wants to exile one of their own guys, which means Uro is a little ways off yet. Okay, they don't. They definitely want Uro to come out. So I'm going to get some extra mana here. 7 mana. Dragon Lord Atarka. Okay. So Cavalier going to have no value at all, which is really disheartening. We untap, we draw Brain Maggot. Start with Brain Maggot. Hoof, O-Stone, and Monster's Advocate. Oh god. What does this do? A lot of things. O-Stone. Board wipe. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 mana. So they can't O-Stone or Hoof unless they draw land. Which they are going to probably unearth Uro, or escape Uro, I mean. I guess I'm going to take O-Stone. That's pretty unfortunate. We do have to bedevil Atarka. Go to combat, make it dude. Get in with the Goblin team. So next turn we almost certainly have to Rankle to take our opponent off of 1 mana. So we're going to exile Cavalier. We take 2. We also might have to play Grey Merchant. It just all depends on what our opponent plays this turn and whether or not they get a land. So Vivian, Monster's Advocate. They to make a beast. They do. And they're going to give this Gnar beast a... Reach would be like the ultimate tech. Trample. Okay. like a few more black mana symbols on the board for this Grey Merchant, but we might just have to cast it to stay alive. It does save us from 2 Clothis pings and does block the beast. Okay, opponent goes attacking. We will double block. Okay, they kill the Brain Maggot, they want O-Stone back. They found their land. We draw Murderous Redcap. So opponent is going to play Hoof. Enters the battlefield. Creatures you control gain trample and get +X/+X until end of turn. Oh wait, no, hang on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. They would have to draw a land. So I think our best bet is to play Rankle and do discard sacrifice mode. Go to combat, make a 1/1. Attack Vivian, attack Vivian, attack Vivian, attack Vivian, attack our opponent. Mentor up the only other goblin. Okay, opponent kills that guy. We're going to make each player discard and each player sack a creature. And we are going to discard Murderous Redcap. Opponent has to discard Hoof or O-Stone. Their best bet is to discard O-Stone. Okay. Or sack a goblin. Opponent's going to sack their token. So opponent discarded Hoof. Their last card in hand is an O-Stone. Okay, so they're going to exile Brain Maggot. We go to 1. They're holding O-Stone, 1 unknown. Ah, this is intense. They play O-Stone. Lumbering Falls. Okay. We untap. We draw Messenger. Highly unfortunate that we cannot play Messenger this turn. However, I think Grey Merchant will have to do. So play Grey Merchant. Gain a bunch of life. Hit our opponent. Oh, we killed them. Sweet. Each player loses 1 life and draws a card. Rankle for the win. Oh, I was like doing the math and I was like, oh, we can't kill him. But Rankle's just too good. Nice. Well, we went 2-1 again, as is our curse in Legacy Cube, but winning more than you lose is always a good thing. Anyway, I hope you all enjoyed this one. I know I did. It was a lot of fun drafting Monoblack Grixis. If you like this video, please leave a like, drop a comment, subscribe to the channel if you're so inclined, and remember that you can always catch me on Twitch at the same username you can find me here. And yeah, I hope you know that you're all wonderful human beings, and I will see you guys next time. Bye!